Okay, so my team's back to reviewing. Gives me a few minutes to get some stuff done. So I decided I want steak salad tonight for dinner. In order to do that, I need to do several things. I have a huge chunk of steak from the large steak that I cooked this weekend that I've saved. It's cooked at medium rare. I have a frozen bag of broccoli, cauliflower, and carrots, which I love to use in this recipe. I have my tortellini. I'm going to turn my scale on. Because again, I'm just trying to make one portion of this. Dixie off. So my landscaper is here, and Dixie's going to make me insane because she wants to go out and play with him. So I'm putting my bowl on my scale. I'm going to tear out the weight. And I'm just going to go ahead and put in, I'm going to do 4 ounces. I think I'm going to do 2 servings. This was the tortellini that I used a couple weeks ago. This is the leftover from the bag. It cooks up really well. I'm cooking it in a shallow pan. For years, people have told you you need to cook your pasta in a large pan. I hate to tell you, you've been lied to. You can cook in a shallow pan depending on what pasta you're using, and it cooks faster because there's not as much surface water to cook or boil. It cooks the pasta just as well. So I have my handy dandy lightweight cast iron going back there. I'm going to go ahead and move this over here. I'm going to move my coffee because I definitely need my iced coffee this morning right here. Still using the lapel mic, so I'm not real sure on it. I've got my pasta. I've got 4 ounces ready to go in the water when it's cooked. I've got my vegetables. Let me get my mixing bowl. This is definitely not a vegan recipe, guys. This is, or even vegetarian, because it's going to have the steak. Now, you could make this with chicken. I'm not in love with the idea of making it with chicken. I've made this salad for years. Several people that I love, it's one of their favorites. You don't see it anywhere else. So I'm going to make a honey mustard. I've got my ball jar, got my shaker ball. You can buy those shaker balls, by the way, separate on Amazon. You don't have to buy the bottle to get it. I was trying to decide how I wanted my honey mustard to be. And I decided on yellow mustard. I've got Dijon out. Excuse me. I've got Dijon out, and I'm going to add a touch of Dijon to this just to give it a little bit extra flavor. But I'm doing it with French's Yellow. Again, I wish I could find my Plowman's locally, but I can't. So I'm using about a half a cup of yellow. I'm going to use a tablespoon of Dijon. I'm going to put in a good hearty serving of black pepper. Believe it or not, I'm going to put just under a tablespoon of black pepper in this because, again, I like black pepper. I'm not adding any salt. Everything in here has salt in it. I'm going to put in a little white wine vinegar. Just pour in. I do like the Pompeian. I've said that before. They make a good white wine and red wine vinegar. And then I've got my bee honey. I am using just the store-bought clover honey in the Bear. Got several of the Bears. This bottle had about a quarter of a cup in it. I'm going to let it all pour into this jar. Never want to waste honey. I do have some local farmers market honey. I chose not to use that right now. I have a couple of these Bears that I need to finish up. I've had them for a while, and they just need to be used. So I've got all my ingredients in here. I'm not adding any garlic. I'm checking my water back there. It's not boiling yet. It's almost boiling. Closing my lid. Shaking with the shaker ball. Get all of the ingredients mixed up. Again, the shaker ball is a great addition to any salad jar. I'm going to taste this in a few minutes. The honey is sitting on the top. It's making it a little hard. Okay, my water's boiling. I'm going to go ahead and add my tortellini into my pan. Again, I'm not using the big deep pan. I'm just using a little lightweight cast iron that I've got back here. I'll let that cook for a few minutes, and then I'm going to turn the water off and just let the tortellini finish cooking in the hot water. My salad dressing looks good. Just keep shaking it up. Whatever's left on this I can use during the week to make a dip for chicken or add it to a salad. This is a really good dressing. Let me taste it. Really simple, not a lot of ingredients. I think that one of the things you have to remember is your honey, because different honeys have different flavors. Clover is definitely the most popular in the United States. I've got an orange blossom honey from a local farmer's market, and I've got a clover honey from a local farmer's market from Fresh Beehives. You know, the honey tastes whatever the blossoms are in the area that are blooming. All right, let me taste this real quick. Oh, that's a lot of honey. Hang on. I scooped the honey off the side of the jar and it all landed on the spoon. You'll see when I'm ready to pour this, it's not yellow anymore. It's now this beautiful golden brown. All right, let's taste this. Oh, that's perfect. Just enough Dijon. Okay, I'm going to turn the water off on the tortellini instead of rolling boil. So this salad, I don't make it with cold tortellini, I make it with hot tortellini. The reason I do that is the tortellini is going to soak up some of the dressing that goes on it. So I need to open my vegetables. I'm not steaming these, I'm not doing anything, I've had them sitting on the counter defrosting, they're still a little frozen. I am going to go through it real quick with a knife and make some of the pieces more bite-sized, the carrots included. Again, these are, packed at their, or picked at their most fresh point, flash frozen, and then sold in bags. Bird's Eye. I like Bird's Eye and I like Hanover frozen vegetables. I'm not so hot for the Green Giant, and I think it's only because the Green Giant farming policies. Having lived in Hershey, Pennsylvania, and seeing how, they had the corporate farms up there and how they treated the non-corporate farms. So it's my own personal preference. If I can get away without using Green Giant, I will. I want all these vegetables to be in bite-sized pieces. It's going to be important. They're going to finish defrosting with the hot tortellini when I pour it in. And they're already cooked. There's no need for me to cook them any further. This is a salad I make the day before I want to eat it. So that way it's soaked up all of the honey mustard that it will. I'll probably add a little more honey mustard to it right before I eat it, because I will guarantee you it will soak up the dressing, the tortellini, the vegetables, all of it will just soak dressing up. Okay, so I've got that in my bowl. I've got my steak, which I told you, it's leftover steak. So I do this when I go to a restaurant and I get a big steak and I don't eat it all. Trying to make sure I don't want Dixie getting a hold of anything. This was cooked rare. It's going to cook in the honey mustard with the vinegar to a more well done. You can, of course, have your steak at any temperature you like. Like I said, this was cooked rare. So I'm going to just put it into bite-sized pieces because it is steak, so you don't want it too big. This is from my local butcher. It's very tender. It was very low in fat. I'm taking off the couple of fatty pieces that I see. Nothing worse than cold steak fat. I'm just cutting it into bite-sized pieces. This is going to be, again, 2 servings for me. I have seen people eat this whole bowl in one sitting. Not me, other people. It's a really good, tasty salad. It has great flavor from the honey mustard, you know, the steak bits, the vegetables. Like I said, I'm just checking it to see if there's any gristle or... So on the entire steak that I cooked this weekend, that's not bad. I mean, I'm just being picky. If it was hot, I would eat it. But it's cold. All right, so the steak's in the bowl. The vegetables are in the bowl. Let me check the tortellini back here. Check it for doneness. It's done. Pull it off. I'm going to get my spider. Alright, I'm going to bring my bowl over here. I didn't want to put the burner out just for this. Although, I started thinking I was going to make a balsamic drizzle for this week for the galette that I'll be making. And I don't know if there's any interest in learning how to make a balsamic drizzle. If there is, I'll bring the burner out and do that. This is definitely not low carb. Although you could probably leave the tortellini out and just do the steak and the vegetables. And if you were a low carber, you know, you'd be replacing the honey with a honey substitute because it's too much sugar. Or just buy, I know that Ken's light honey mustard is not bad, carb-wise or flavor-wise. All right, so I just strained the tortellini right into the bowl, as you can see. I'm going to shake up my dressing one more time. I'm going to move my knife off the deck. I don't want Dixie getting near it. I'm going to get a stirring spoon. Dixie's being really good. She's laying on the mat looking out the door watching the landscaper. I'm going to coat this the first time, and then I might come back later in the day. I used probably 2/3 of the jar of dressing that I just made. I'm going to coat the salad, the tortellini, the vegetables. There is no more seasoning required in this dish, seriously. I did salt the water for the tortellini, so there's that, for those that want salt. I know this looks really, really wet right now, but I promise you, when I'm ready to eat this, it's going to have very little dressing in it, because the tortellini, oh, that's so good. The tortellini is going to soak up all that dressing. I'm going to put this in a container, probably 2. I'll fit in 1. And I'll probably pull it out later today and add more dressing to it. Or I might just wait until I'm serving it and then pour the dressing over it. So, tortellini steak salad with honey mustard dressing. I used 2/3 of the jar that I made. That was 1/4 cup of yellow mustard, 2 tablespoons of white wine vinegar, a tablespoon of Dijon mustard, black pepper, and of course probably 1/4 cup of honey. That's all. And it's really, really good. This will go in the fridge. This should be ready for me to eat for dinner tonight. It'll be better tomorrow, but I'll probably eat this for dinner tonight. All right, that's it for now, and I'm going to go back to my team. So thanks, y'all. Talk to you later. Bye.